Hey guys, Ron Cecil here, men's life coach, helping men make positive changes in their life and realize their potential. Have you seen those memes that have been coming out lately where one shot is the exterior of some window and a person's banging on the window trying to get the attention of whoever's inside, and then it pans to the person inside and it's them making some mistake in the past, and then the caption says something like, I'm trying to keep myself from making the mistake. It's a great trend. I think it's very funny. Well, if I could make that, it would be me banging on the window trying to teach me how to track my time like I do now. One of the big reasons I had such a problem tracking my time when I was younger was because I have ADHD. The problem was I didn't know I had ADHD until I was in my late 30s. One of the symptoms of ADHD is what's called time blindness. I'm just going to read to you what having time blindness means. It means having difficulties with tasks related to time, such as estimating how long an activity will take, sticking to schedules, and recognizing when it's appropriate to start and finish a task. There's an organization that I've used before that also deals with similar problems called Under Earners Anonymous. They call time blindness time indifference. I like their definition a little bit more. They say time indifference is we put off what must be done and do not use our time to support our vision and further our goals. So if you've had difficulty with time blindness or time indifference, it might be because you suffer from ADHD, or it's because you live in a world that is full of distraction and comforts. Why work on something difficult or hard when you can reach over and easily grab something that makes you feel good in a moment? I was reminded of this today on a coaching call when I was talking to a young man in his early 30s. He looked at me and said, Ron, if you could go back to your early self, to you in your 30s, and convince him of something in his life that he needed to do then that would make you proud now, what would that be? And I thought, that's easy. Learn how to track my time. And that's why I'm talking to you today. There's really one technique I'm going to talk to you about today, and that's time tracking. But before I get into the actual steps of time tracking, I want you to know this. You are not going to do this perfectly. So just cast out of your mind this idea that if you begin to track your time, you're going to be perfect at it and your life is going to be perfect and easy from here on out. It's not the case and it's not true. You have to go into this knowing it's going to be hard. Know right now that your brain does not want to do this. If your brain did want to do this, it would have started doing this a long time ago. Your brain is designed to do life as efficiently as possible. Anytime your brain learns to do something different, it's going to require burning more calories. And when your brain requires more calories, it's not going to want to do it. It wants to stop. That's why it's so difficult in changing habits. So as you go into this, know it's going to be a challenge, know you're going to have some difficulty, but commit to doing this imperfectly. In other words, you're going to make mistakes. It's okay. Just keep going. It's better to do this brokenly or imperfectly, but consistently than it is to try it once and then not come back to it. You know that's the same for anything that you want to build in your life, whether it's healthy eating habits or weightlifting in the gym. It's consistency more than perfection. So the number one goal of time management is becoming aware that time exists. That's what you're trying to do, is being aware that time is passing by. So now that you know that the goal of time management is simply time awareness, there are two tools that I use. I'm going to show you both of them. The simplest one, and probably the one that's the funniest to use, is this little counter. You can buy a pack of 3 of these on Amazon for $8. All this is a counter that you can count anything in your life that you're doing. Now, the person who taught me this to help me capture my intrusive thoughts where I was getting jealous, thoughts where I was getting mad at myself, and I would literally carry this in my pocket, and every time I felt jealous or started to beat myself up in the inside, I would click this off. And at the end of the day, I would look at the number. Now, the goal for that was to get that number smaller and smaller as time went on, and it worked. The thing is, the more you become aware of what you are doing, the less likely you are to continue to repeat it. So in an effort to get a better handle of our time, what we want to become aware of is when we are wasting time. If you are the kind of person that sits down to work on an email, but instead you zone out on the news or Amazon or something like that, then you need to begin to capture how many times you waste your time. I know for me, it's very easy to wake up in the morning and to pick up my phone to do something simple, look at the weather or to see what's on my calendar, and instead I end up in an Instagram or YouTube wormhole before my water's even finished boiling for my first cup of tea. So what I do is I just try to become aware of my time by carrying this around and clicking it every time I waste my time. Again, this isn't a perfect tool, but it is a tool. Do you carry this around your neck? I don't care what you do. I carried this in my pocket when I would leave the house, and I found that over time, the more I became aware of when I was making the mistake that I didn't want to make, the less I actually did it. To the point where after about 3 or 4 weeks, I don't have the same amount of intrusive thoughts that I used to. Now, I'm the kind of guy that has both a digital life and an analog life. I put all my meetings in a calendar, and I make sure that those are there, and I'm aware of when they are in my day. But then the rest of my day, I actually use my paper daily planner. In my daily planner, I use a very analog system of tracking my day. I physically write down every hour of the day that I'm going to be working. And during that hour, I write my number one objective for that hour. The second thing I do in that is that I break my hour into 4 15-minute sections. The reason I do that is because I have my ADHD brain, and my brain loves to work on sprints. That's why I used to love to wait to the last minute to get things done, because it releases dopamine and adrenaline in my system, and it actually gives me a boost. I found a way to work around that is to keep my windows of work very short, and 15 minutes for me is the way I do that. I do that by keeping a timer on my phone or a timer in my browser, and every time I sit down to work, I set the 15-minute timer, I start it, and I sprint through what I'm gonna do. Now, what do I do if I sit down for 15 minutes and I get distracted? I simply notice that it's happening, I write down what's going on, and I write down how long I got distracted. That might look like something like this. I write down the time, the distraction that I participate in, and how much time I did wasting that. The goal of this is to just notice the time going by. That's it. Just like the clicker, every time I notice, I become aware of time going by, and I become more aware of my own propensity to distract myself. Again, there is no perfect system for tracking your time. The only thing that you can really do is start to do it and begin to incorporate it in your life in a way that becomes consistent. I'm in my early 40s now. My wife and I have run this business together since 2015. Let me tell you this, the success that I've had in my life would not be here without time tracking. I would not have been able to grow my business to where it is today. I would not have the land that I've purchased in Italy along with my wife. And I wouldn't be planning on moving my entire family overseas in the new year like I am now, unless I had brought a lot of consciousness to my time. I bring consciousness to my time so that I work on the goals that move my life forward. If you're having problems managing your time, it's not because you are especially bad. It's because you live in a world that is built for distraction, and you're working with a brain that was built for expansive fields of time. Now we live in a world where time is of the essence, where time is slipping by faster than anything. It is our greatest commodity. And we live in a time where the world and the systems that operate the world want to take that time from us because it pays them money. The good news is there is a way to manage your time. It's very simple. Become aware of time slipping by. Use these systems. You can either write it down as it's happening, or you can use an analog clicker. I'm sure there's even ways you can do it on your phone. I don't like to use my phone because it becomes a temptation to distract myself. If you need help with this, let me know. Click on the link below to schedule a one-on-one coaching call for only $60, and we can build a roadmap for you in your life that will help you reach your unmet potential in your life. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with somebody who you know needs more help with time tracking. Thanks everybody. Look forward to speaking with you. Grace and peace.